So the sneezing, the coughing, the feeling you've been hit by a Mack truck, yes, it is flu season.
That's how you know it's there. Joining us this morning to talk about avoiding the bug and some natural things you can do to get better is Dr. Melinda Bower from Bastyr Center for Natural Health. Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so right off the bat, what can we do to avoid getting the flu this year?
Prevention is definitely the most important thing. You want to make sure you're washing your hands frequently throughout the day to avoid the spread of germs. I also recommend getting adequate sleep. When I mean that is more than 8 hours a night. It's going to help.
More than 8 hours?
More than 8 hours a night,
no.
or at least 8 hours a night. It's really going to help. It's really going to help your body be able to fight something when it's coming on. And there's been some recent studies recently that shows that mild exercise can actually increase your immune system. So we say more frequency equals less sickness. And if you start to feel like you're getting sick, of course you want to stay home, allow your body to rest, especially if you have a fever.
And you've brought some lovely props today. Are these ways to fight the flu if you do start to sense the symptoms?
Yes. So these are some of my favorite things you might have in your kitchen that are really helpful. Garlic is extremely antimicrobial. Now you might say, do I have to eat this raw? That might not sound like such a pleasant experience, but you can actually take 2 cloves, keep them peeled, so don't take the peel off, pop them in the microwave for 25 seconds. That will take out that raw garlic feeling, but it still has the antimicrobial properties. So that's something you can do a couple times a day when you start feeling those symptoms coming on. Another favorite is fresh ginger root. You can make a tea with this. So I usually take about an inch, either grate it or chop it finely, put it with some boiling water. You can add a couple of tablespoons of lemon juice, maybe a little bit of honey to taste. And you can drink that throughout the day. Both the honey and the ginger is going to be antimicrobial as well. And then my favorite herbal remedy is a black elderberry syrup. This tastes good, so your kids will enjoy it, as you will as well. And this has immune stimulating properties as well as antiviral, so it's really good for the flu.
You know, some people swear by Echinacea. Some people say that zinc really helps them. What's the real scoop on those?
Yeah, there are so many different remedies. Both zinc and Echinacea have studies that have been proven to be helpful. The thing with Echinacea that's really important to remember is that it's an herb. You need to take it regularly for it to be able to work. But zinc also helps support the immune system. So yes, there are lots and lots of good options.
And there are some of us who try all these things, and try as we might, the flu still comes full force. At what point do we need to be seeking medical attention?
At the point where you have a fever, then that's definitely a point where you know you have probably the flu. I mean, there's a lot of overlapping symptoms between the cold and the flu, but when you start to feel that bad and you're getting worse, that's a really good time to go see a doctor.
You know, so many people I know, and I'm one of them, has been struggling with a head cold for weeks. It's just, you know, kind of a buildup, you know, and I've heard varying schools of thought. You talked about exercise earlier, and somebody told me if it's respiratory, you do not want to exercise if you're having trouble with the breathing and things like that.
Yeah.
But I've noticed when you do sweat out a cold, you definitely do get a little bit better. What's your take on that?
So I have a rule of thumb with exercise and symptoms. If your symptoms are above the head, you can maintain an exercise routine, just reduce the intensity. So maybe if you normally have a 30-minute run or walk or exercise class, maybe just go for a walk instead. But if your symptoms are below the neck, you don't want to exercise. That could potentially make it worse.
All right, it was good information. All right, Dr. Melinda Bower from Bastyr, thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Good to have you today. For more information, you can check out bastyrcenter.org.